Hello, welcome to all of you astrology friends out there. This is a very short video and it's a general video, so it's not about each and every single sign, but I wanted to do this extra video just before the eclipse occurs around the 14th of October. There was a comment. Yes, I do read my comments for sure. And there was a comment in the video on the eclipse, I think, of couldn't you do an extra video or a video about what we need to prepare for just before the eclipses? And I thought that was a good idea. So I thought, let's just make a very short, concise video with the aspects that are going on between, as I'm recording this now today on the 7th of October, up until the 14th of October. So see it a bit like a weather forecast or a weekly forecast or a 2 weeks forecast. Well, a weekly forecast. A weekly forecast just before the eclipses are happening. Now, to check out what you want to know about the eclipses, check out the other videos, but let's have a look. It's pretty interesting. And I think that we can, the more we know about these aspects and energies that are going on, the better we respond and the better we can prepare for these changes, right, that I'm talking about in the other video. Now, there are three aspects that are very crucial and I'll explain them in chronological order, so to speak. And of course, the first aspect is Mars square Pluto. So we are now in the midst of it, and you're going to feel it today, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, even 11th, 12th of October. I mean, the whole time, you could say it peaks around Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But you're going to feel it, this energy, Mars square Pluto, for the whole kind of period before the eclipses. Whilst this is going on, so Mars square Pluto, there's another aspect with Venus going on. And Venus is opposing Saturn, or you could say Venus is going to cross the point where it's going to oppose Saturn. Venus is going to enter Virgo on round and about the 10th of October. So it's going to be entering Virgo and it bumps immediately into Saturn. Now that is also a very interesting aspect that I'm going to talk about. And the moon is going to join with it as well, because the moon will be first in Leo and then conjoin with Venus. So we're going to have a moon-Venus conjunction opposing Saturn. And we're going to feel that around the 9th, the 10th, the 11th of October as well. And then last but not least, and this is a positive, very, you could say, kind of constructive energy that we are having here, is again Mars. But now, after it bumped into Pluto, it's now trining Saturn. And that is because it shifted as well in a new sign of Scorpio, where it is way more in its own element, you could say, because Mars loves to be in Scorpio. It knows what it has to do there. And definitely in Scorpio, it's about, I know what I'm going for. It's not like previously when Mars was in Libra, where you have to take into account all the relationships, the connections, and you have to take into account other people in that if you want to act and you want to know what everybody else is thinking of your actions, it can be a very, you could say, long and annoying vibration. And Mars is not used for that. It's not used to be in Libra, or you could say not used to, but it's not really comfortable there because Mars wants to go, and Mars wants to act, right? So if this Mars then trining Saturn, and Mars enters Scorpio round at about the 12th, 13th, 14th of October, it's going to enter Scorpio. So we have a beautiful, you could say, energy here that is showing us about the love planets. Mars and Venus are the love planets for sure. But Mars is more considered our actions, our intentions, and Venus is more what we value. So it's almost like as if with the Mars square Pluto, there's something that we catch our attention towards for sure that is very Plutonic. So if we act, it's going to be transforming. That is Pluto. Then Venus opposing Saturn shows like, yeah, reality check in relationships. There could be split ups for sure with Venus opposite Saturn, but also reality checks that force us to, in the long run, and that's the continuation of Mars trining Saturn, to get a new plan and to initiate that in the long term. So, what an interesting energy. It's definitely not the lightest energy. I mean, Mars squaring Pluto, Venus opposing Saturn. It's like you could say our male energy is under pressure. Under pressure, you know that song? It's under pressure, but also Venus, the feminine energy is also under pressure in a way that it has to dim its light a little bit from the, Venus in Leo, and now it has to be serious, analytical, smart, intelligent, and with healthy boundaries. So I think this is a lot about boundaries because it's not only Venus opposes Saturn, then after that Mars is going to trine Saturn. So there's a lot of Saturnial, Plutonian kind of energy. And when that happens in a chart, that combination of Saturn and Pluto, it's a lot about slowing down the actions and slowing down, you could say, the energy in order to be more present, to be more real, and to be more realistic so that you can respond in the correct way. Of course, with the Mars square Pluto, it's the most challenging one, and that is just around, the corner, so to speak. It's active now between now and you could say the 11th, the 12th of October. Mars square Pluto is a huge one. So be aware of those energies where you see others or yourself, depending on your chart, that people are just, fed up with suppressing their Mars, with suppressing the energy. And of course, when you do that too long, when you say that is not in my reality, that is not in my reality, I'm going to stuff it up, I'm going to put it under the carpet, I'm going to put it under the carpet. Of course, we think that we put it away, but it's going to have a life on its own. And that's typical with Mars square Pluto. It's going to come out when we least expect it and when we least want it. So what is it for you that you are putting under the carpet? What is it for you that you are suppressing, that you actually want to act so strongly, but you can't because of circumstances, because of taboo? And there is because Pluto is about taboo. And there is this energy of transformation, of not putting that under the carpet, but doing something differently with it. So yes, you can't just go full force, but you might do and use this energy in a different way. And that is what we call transformation. And that is what we call that the energy, energy is like E is MC quadrat, or how do you say that in English? So if we try to suppress a huge energy, it's only become bigger. So what we resist persists, they say, right? And I think it's really has to do with this Mars Pluto. So for a lot of you, this is going to be an action that you cannot do, that you desire to do, but that you cannot do because it's unhealthy, because it's, the negative side of Pluto, which is toxic and taboo and whatnot. But try to do something with that energy anyways. It doesn't mean to say that you cannot express it in a certain way, that you cannot express it in a different way. So try to express it. Even Mars square Pluto, when I find that in a chart, a lot of people, they do kind of, in a natal chart that is, they do martial arts or they do something physical. Mars is here in Libra, so that is a very intellectual, you could say, air sign, but still Mars square Pluto makes it kind of, with a lot of desire. The desire nature with Mars square Pluto is out of the roof. And so it's about mastering those. It's about mastering those desires on a higher level, because what your ego is, well, what is your ego may be wanting something, but what is your higher self, the divine, check that out. Because a Mars square Pluto, who is very selfish and egocentric, can do very bad stuff, so to speak, and very, under the radar. It's very manipulative. Mars in Libra square Pluto is super manipulative. So watch your actions and watch yourself when you're trying to do that, and kind of refocus. If other people, though, if you are saying I'm at the other end and I see other people doing that to me, then it is, being manipulative, abusive, under the radar, gaslighting, all that juicy stuff. Well, juicy, it's not juicy. It's actually very toxic. But then it is for you an invitation to stand up for yourself. Mars square Pluto, you're afraid of it, but you're going to do it. You have to mobilize your Mars, and you're going to stand up for yourself. Yes, there's going to be a price to pay, but it's either that or you just, not being authentic. Again, a key word, this authenticity is very Plutonian in a good way, to be real and authentic. So these energies are very manipulative in a bad way. In a good way, they are very transformative. So it is ideal if you are afraid, for instance, of doing something that you wanted to do for a long, long time, but you're super afraid of it. But once you're going to do it, it's going to improve your life. Well, this is a time to break through. And so that's good. Now then, Venus opposes Saturn, showing us a reality check, right? Because this Venus has been like for ages in Leo, and it's now going to enter the sign of Virgo, which is less, you could say, theatrical. And I don't mean to say that in a negative way. Venus in Leo is very demonstrative of showing its love, which is a good thing. But it's at the same time, the downside of Leo is also drama. So with Venus in Virgo, we're a bit less dramatic, and we're a bit more with the feet on the ground. Nothing wrong about that. Yes, Venus is in a sign of Virgo where it's not really keen on, but it can do its work, and in a good way, by being very humble. Venus in Virgo, and it appreciates to do things of service for others as well. So it kind of cools us down a little bit. But Venus opposing Saturn definitely shows here, because of those actions that we might have taken or not, or drawing a line in the sand and saying, no longer no. I'm not going to tolerate that anymore. Venus opposing Saturn suggests that a lot of people are going to feel a coolness in some relationships. Of course, depending on your chart, where this is all, falling into your chart. Watch the monthly horoscopes and the eclipses horoscope. You're going to certainly know a little bit more for your specific sign. But so Venus opposing Saturn, yes, it is a cooling down. Yes, because you made a decision like a confrontation, it is a price to pay, right? And the price to pay is probably a cooling down of certain relationships, but that is temporary, because this transit is just taking a few days, and it's also necessary. Once we want to change our situation or our relationships, we need to be confrontational. Every now and then there can be a crisis, but sometimes it kind of clears the air, and that's a good thing. So Venus opposing Saturn in Pisces at 0 to 1 degrees of Pisces, and Venus at 0, 1 degrees of Virgo, that opposition shows that you need healthy boundaries, that you need those, you could say, because of all that work that people have done of Venus in Leo, with all that reassessment of value system, now you're going to see a go for it, for that new value, whether it is a new relationship or whether it is breaking up with an old relationship or whether it is a job. Venus is what you value. It could have to do with a job as well. It depends on your chart. But whatever it is, you see the first signs of, this is an adjustment. Venus opposing Saturn, which has to do with you know, that coolness of energy. But stick to it, you know, you can't go back. Mars square Pluto, when there are done deeds in the past with the Mars square Pluto, Pluto is transformative. So once you do something, you can't go back. For instance, once you take a decision, of course, you can say you can always go back. But anyways, mostly in a, you know, in a way of speaking, when you end a relationship, I mean, that's it, right? When you resign, that's it. When you decide to no longer do a certain job and you say, I'm going to retire now, that's it. It's a shift. It's like a no way back. And that is very much with this Mars square Pluto. So ask yourself, if you are going to do something, can you be okay with that coolness of emotions, with that coolness of feelings that is going to come anyway, right? It is all easy to say, yeah, I want some change, right? I see that very much in the emails that I'm getting from people, whether they're doing a horoscope reading or not. They say, oh, is there coming some change? Well, we can make sure of that now with the Mars Pluto energy, we can make change, but there's always a price to pay. And it's not necessarily a bad thing at all. But it's people who want and they're not going to vibe with this energy. People who are willing to say, yeah, if I'm going to do that action, you know, let's give a very simple example. You're having Mars Pluto and you're thinking about studying again, for instance. You're thinking about doing a serious study, whatever it is for you. That takes a year, 3 years, whatnot. You're going to do it. You're afraid of it, but you're going to do it. Mars square Pluto. And then comes Venus opposite Saturn, saying like, okay, now you're in this study and it demands a lot of your time, your social life. It's going to be a little bit less there. So, and then it's this confrontation, Venus opposite Saturn, that, oh my goodness, I can't go out every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night now. I might go out once a week or maybe once a month, whatever, because I've got tons of study to do. You know, it's something like that. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a choice that has consequences. You know, Pluto is about consequences that transforms your life. So, or it could be the student that's gonna go for work and so they realize, oh, my life as a student is over, you know, something like that. Or a relationship. You're breaking up with a relationship because you know it's the best thing. And then Venus opposite Saturn. Ooh, now you're gonna, maybe the reason why you didn't broke up was because there was some value there still. And now you're saying, oh yes, maybe you were out of a job, for instance, and you were dependable on the money of your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And now you realize, yes, I broke up. So I'm done with the toxicity. No more of that. But hey, I have to work now, or I have to find a way of earning my own income and being independent. You see, it's very extreme examples here that I'm showing you, but it's really that energy that is so life-changing. And then we go towards the Mars trine Saturn, which I love, because Mars in Scorpio and trining Saturn, wow, that is a lot of mastery of actions. So here it shows that afterwards, all that is going on, and just before the eclipse actually, we are quite powerful, because in our actions, we have a continuation and we have stability coming up, which is important, isn't it? You know, when you make major changes in your life, Mars, Pluto, and you feel like you had to give up something, Venus opposite Saturn, but then you have Mars trine Saturn, it means that, yes, you're going to stick to your guns, right? And you're going to go forwards with those actions, and you're going figuratively to the gym every day, right? Or a couple of times in the week. And so you're going to stick to your guns, and there's a long-term kind of way where you're going to do your actions, and you're going to feel that the intention is in favor of also the steps that you're taking consistently. Mars Saturn is about consistent steps that you're taking. It's like today, Mars trine Saturn is like, I want to write a book, which is huge, right? I mean, not everyone can write a book in a day, but you're going to do every single day 1 page. And at the end of the year, you're going to have a book, right? That's Mars trine Saturn. It's focus. It's focus in our actions and on a daily basis. So this is really, really interesting energy, I think. And especially with these eclipses, and certainly the one on the 14th of October, which is an eclipse of a release and of a letting go of this, hopefully for a lot of us, toxic energy of the Libran, right? Every sign has toxic energy, by the way. No, I'm not judging Librans, but every sign has a toxic way of expressing itself. And the Librans, it's in their indirect way, and not in their authenticity, expressing that, right? So we are all now having this huge, massive release of a certain area of our life where we can say goodbye to that non-authenticity. And let's go for it, right? In whatever area of life that is for you. So this is a simple, I hope it was clear. I wanted to do it as clear as possible. And so I'm sure you're gonna do well, all of you. Thank you so much for your support, for watching my channel, for watching my videos, writing lovely comments, subscribing, ordering readings and all of that. Do check out, if you haven't done already, the promotion that I'm making for these eclipses, because I think it's a very important timing and it's a perfect time to have a reading. So check that out if you want to. I'll put a link of my website and the page there. And yes, thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time. Bye-bye.